Alright, guys, and now after almost a year, it is time for the last part of the last chapter, the finale of Lyre Visual Novel. Wow. Rolling over, my eyes struggle to stay open, but my mind is wide awake. When all my body wants to do is go back to sleep, my surroundings become apparent, and my curiosity takes over. The smell of burning wood wafts over my face, along with the cold winter breeze. My body feels warm, but the bedroll I'm enveloped in is cold to the touch. The fur my head lays against is warm, however. I sit up enough so that my vision does not only consist of the cliffside I am under, and look around. All around me are trees, covered in a thin layer of snow. Despite the frost shrouding everything, flowers bloom and nature thrives. There's a small campfire next to the bedroll I'm in, with a pot of water hanging above it, softly boiling. Where am I? And where's Lyle? Slowly sitting up, my mind is still able to hold on to the visions that have run through my mind for who knows how long. Recalling them is not as easy, but the knowledge of what I've seen is still there. Tygren. Go into the mind's eye and look around. Feels empty here, even considering the absence of Tygren. Tygren! I shout into the chasm, but get no reply. They said we would speak again soon, but I assume I won't be seeing them for a while. The Temple of Hyeda. Never even heard of such a place. Better come back soon, because I don't even know where to start with this. Only that, where the hell... But where the hell was I? Come back to the small camp where I'm laying down. Sitting up, I toss the upper corner of the bedroll to the side and look around, trying to gain a better understanding of my surroundings. A horse who feels familiar stands close by, hitched onto a tree with a fur blanket draped over them. After remembering where I am and what's happened, I realize that this is the horse Lyle was riding. There's a water skin laying at my feet, and I reach for it, popping the cork. I stick my finger inside and tip the skin to the side. Bringing the tip of my finger to my mouth, I taste it. It's definitely water, and cold too. Put the opening to my mouth and begin to guzzle down the contents. It's like drinking water from a melted glacier, more fresh than anything I'd had over the past month. I pull the skin away from my mouth, gasping for breath, crisp air tickling the inside of my mouth. Looking around while I quench my thirst, I notice a specific thing among the camp supply strewn about. There's a clothing line stretched from the top of the small cliff all the way down to the same tree the horse is hitched to. A pair of trousers and white shirt hang from this line, along with a towel, even a pair of undergarments. These clothes are definitely Lyle's. I've seen him in that shirt on multiple occasions. In between the clothing, there's a lantern with a blue flame dancing on its candle. Vitality fire. I assume it's there to keep the drying clothes from freezing stiff, but as I look around, I notice that there's no frost on any of the grass around it. It's like I'm nestled in a small circle of the forest that's unaffected by the frigid weather around it. I look to my left and see a small cloth with small red berries nestled in it, along with a large green apple. I'm not terribly hungry at the moment, but I sense that will change soon. I decide to take a few berries, examining them first. They're wintergreen berries, the kind I used to eat as a kid. Pop a few in my mouth and the flavor is stiff at first. After chewing for a moment, the taste becomes a bit stronger, and my tongue relaxes into it. With the corner of my eye, I spot a book left open at the base of my bedroll. I'm about to reach for it, but I hear a noise in the distance. The noise of rustling branches echoes through the fog along with the sound of twigs snapping. It could be a small animal. As the sound draws nearer, I'm convinced it's much larger than a squirrel or hare. From out of the fog, I see a pair of tall, pointy ears peek out from behind a large bush. The wolf steps over the snowy shrubbery, a bow slung over his shoulder, with a pail of water in one hand and an expired turkey in the other. Our eyes meet and the world freezes. Richter? You're awake. He sets the pail and turkey on the ground and rushes over to me. Before I can say anything, I'm pulled into a tight hug as he carefully kneels down at my side. Ow! Oh, sorry. Pulls away from the hug and rests his large paws on my shoulders. Are you okay? How long have you been awake? Do you need some water? One question at a time, please. He lunges at me again and starts to plant kisses all over my face. Pushed back onto the bedroll and pinned down by his weight. His cape blankets over us and he continues to smother me in affection. He ends it with a deep kiss on the lips, pulling away and rolling over onto the ground next to me. His armor makes it a bit hard for him to move around, but he eventually situates himself. I struggle to roll over and look at him, my body's still somewhat sore. Still, even with that, I feel completely rejuvenated after what just happened. Been waiting for you to wake up for what feels like ages. It's been a week since we escaped. He pants, clearly out of breath. Puffs of hot air form in clouds around his muzzle. I remember everything now. Thought I was done for, but there you were, swooping in to save me at the last second. How did you do it? I took the place of the headsman. How the hell did you pull that off? He sits up, leaning against one of the rocks behind us. I snuck into the stables and found the headsman. Once there, I thought I was caught and done for, but he actually ended up helping me. Really? Yes, he gave me his great axe and retrieved my horse for me. I'm sure he's okay, because he can't really be punished for being robbed. He must have been very fond of you. Lyle chuckles to himself, a soft laugh almost as warm as the fire. It's all so confusing, though. Why would the headsman help Lyle save me from execution? I was under the assumption that the headsman would carry out his orders no matter what. Why would he help you save me? It's funny, really. He said he had received a vision. A vision? He's a very holy man, as I'm sure you know. Yes, I'm aware. This vision told him that if I came down to the stables on the day of your execution, he was to help me. God must really love you. Yeah. That's what Tygren did. He somehow managed to twist the events into playing out in our favor. I'm not supposed to do that, though. I guess so. What's happened to Tygren? The headman said that you were of great importance. What does this mean? I didn't want to question it, though. I saw the chance and I took it. I didn't really have another choice. Tygren saved me, but what did it cost them? Clearly it was something big. What if our connection got worse? A flurry of thoughts and worries run through my mind, the chilling breeze not making things any better. Richter? I said, do you know what the headsman was on about? Oh. I tried to formulate a careful reply, but feel stuck. I want to tell him what it truly means. I want to open up and come forward about all of it. Tygren clearly trusts him enough to center my entire escape around him. But I can't. I'm not sure. At least not right now. I'll tell him later tonight. Can't keep it from him forever. Especially him. Well, I certainly owe him one. I don't think I'll get the chance to make good on that, though. After I rescued you, I got us out of there as fast as I could. We took the main road for a while, but then I changed our course further north. It took a day's ride, but we're far away from the capital city now. It even managed to snow on the way here, so no chance of hoofprints being left behind. And where is here? We're just half a day's ride north of Healing Cove, in the woods at the base of the mountains. It's not the middle of nowhere, but we should be safe here for a while. I even went to one of the markets in the Healing Cove to pick up some supplies. Wasn't that risky? Pretty sure we're wanted all over. News about our crimes hasn't made it to Healing Cove yet. Also, I made sure to hide my identity and I didn't stay long. I would hope not. I'd hate to be left here alone for too long, even if I was out for it. Don't worry. You were safe here. I wasn't gone long, and made sure everything was secure before I left. Besides, the huntsmen make sure there aren't many predators in these forests. Calm down, I was only joking. I'd rather be left here than go into town and face getting recognized. I'm sure your wanted poster is very handsome. It better be. When I was there, I picked up plenty of things that will help us out. With what? What do you think? Being out here in the wilderness, we can't just rent a room at a tavern. Fair. Had plenty of gold set aside and managed to snatch it before I escaped. We've got plenty of food and supplies to start us out. That's very good to hear. The idea that we won't be starving certainly makes me feel better. Not only that, but my face feels fresh, and my hair feels much cleaner than it was in the dungeons. Were you washing my hair? Yeah. He stands up, throwing his cape back. Didn't want you to wake up feeling like you were still in the dungeon. I truly don't deserve him. As a friend and a lover. Watching him get up, I managed to get a good look at his armor. It's studded leather with chainmail, woven imagery adorning the leather padding. On his gauntlet and pauldron, the family crest of reeds is painted. New armor? Old, actually. My other set of armor was more ceremonial. I wouldn't be caught dead wearing it on the battlefield. It looks nice on you. I love the chaps. Aye. Thank you. I do too. Much more comfortable than that full body gambeson. That must be your horse over there. That's him. The horse calmly rests by the tree he's hitched to. His black coat shines like coal, contrasted against the snowfall. He has a long, curly white mane which rests on his thick neck and down his back in thick ringlets. Above all that, he's huge. He's beautiful. One of the prettiest horses I've ever seen. His name is Finley. The horse has a name, people. The horse is Finley. He was given to me when I was knighted. Raynar knew I would need a horse big enough to carry all of this. He gestures to himself, closing his eyes with a humble expression. Well, he's as big as I remember him being when you galloped over the fields outside of... ... My mind goes back to that day. I'm almost able to see it a bit more clearly. All of the bad memories seem to overpower the stunning visual of Lyle riding over the hills. The worst memories. Are you okay? No. The dry wounds on my back feel more noticeable, and I readjust my shirt. What happened after the trial? What did he do to you? The question causes me to wince. It's a question I was hoping to avoid. He seems to have figured out something's happened. That much is true. I think you know. He looks hurt, like he was just punched in the gut. Then requests again with a bit of impatience. My mind is coming to very conclusions, but no, I don't. I want to know. I was tortured. How? It takes no time to register this information, as if he already knew what I was going to say. My voice catches in my throat. It feels much more like I'm about to throw up. Thinking back on it, the muscles in my body begin to tense. I can imagine every bone in my body aching like they did all those days ago. Please don't make me talk about it. Richter, I won't force you to talk about it, but I need to know what happened. Please, if you could just... Desperation in his voice bleeds out more and more with each word. I need to know because I'd never forgive myself if I wasn't able to give you support. Approaches me slightly. I back away from him. This causes him to take a step back, his feet crunching the stiff grass. Please, I just want to... Can I just show you? Bites his lip at hearing this, eyes starting all over me. Show me? I pull my legs out from the bedroll and sit on top of it. The leathery surface is stiff and cold on the outside, but it feels almost refreshing. I was secretly hoping you just already knew. One less problem to bring up. I shift around on my knees and face away from him. Reaching down, I slowly pull up my shirt from the bottom and over my head. My hair falls down around my shoulders, spilling down onto my upper back and brushing against the scars. I don't have a reason for it, but I'm overwhelmed with embarrassment, my face becoming hot. At first I hear nothing from Lyle, with him having somewhat a delayed reaction. That's how the choking gasp, like he's at a loss for words. Tears begin welling up in the corners of my eyes, so heavy that when I blink, they fall straight down rather than streaming down my cheeks. I hear him stumble forward, drawing in a sharp breath before belting out a stream of sobs. "Oh, bite it." Every word after that falls from his mouth in some sort of gibberish. Then throws out a string of swears. Some sound like they're in a different language. It's a thick and heavy language, ones I've only heard from travelers who get too drunk at the local tavern. It's not as bad as it looks. I can barely feel it anymore. He continues to sob, now taking his large paws and gently examining the area. How could he? It's like Leaf said. Every word uttered comes out in a shaky voice. Human wounds heal pretty fast. Tears aren't flowing any faster, but the muscles in my face begin to tense, and I start to grit my teeth. The pads on his gentle fingers brush over the branding scar, sending a shiver throughout my whole body. What else did he do? The voice I hear almost doesn't sound like Lyle at all. He gave me a hallucinogen. Pulls his hand away and I turn around, bringing my arms together and holding them tight against my body. While standing, pacing around the area, running his paws over his head, his ears being pushed back each time. He starts breathing rapidly. Each breath drawn into his body makes him inflate with rage. I swear I wouldn't let him hurt you. He's going to pay. He's going to pay for this. Fuck! He throws his paws down around his waist, and quickly brings them back up, wringing them in the air. I've never seen him so furious. The whites of his eyes turn a dark yellow. If I blinked, most likely would have missed it happening. I swear I'll fucking kill him. I'll. Lyle falls to his knees in front of me, his armor clattering as he does. His face is tensing up, the muscles in his nose pulling the chops back, his ears twitching. I watch him in a dazed state, the tears no longer rushing down my cheeks. Eyes wide, mouth dry. All I can do is sit there and watch him crumple to the ground. At that moment, he looked as if he had already killed Adrius. I shift in my seated position and move forward, falling into him. I wrap my arms around him and press my body into his. The cold, steel parts of his armor shock me for a moment, but they don't pull away. After hugging for a bit, he begins to calm down, as his breathing steadies. He gently wraps his arm around me and buries his nose into my hair. We just sit there for a moment, rocking side by side ever so slightly. He manages to smell as he always did. Sweet coconut, like the warm winds on the beaches of Erin. I'm so sorry. I adjust my arm and pat him on the back. His cape is rough and sturdy, made of thick fabric, which is much different than the old one. Don't be. After a couple minutes of silence, Lyle mumbles into my ear. Can I bandage you? The wounds look pretty healed, but I want to make sure they're protected. Sure. Lyle sits up and takes a deep breath, then crawls over to a large rucksack and rifles through it. I wish I knew you had those scars. You were so weak when I took you off my horse. I was afraid if I touched you too much. He pulls out a cloth and roll of bandages. Turn around, please. I do as he says, sitting cross-legged on the bedroll. Take a deep breath, trying to calm myself down. I just feel so broken. Not able to process my emotions properly right now. Lyle dips the rag into the pail, water dripping off onto the ground as he brings it over. Tell me if it hurts and I'll stop. I'll be fine. Presses the rag onto my back, gently dabbing it onto the scars. You can go a bit harder if you need to. No, I can't. There's some scabbing, and I don't want to mess with it too much. I'm just going to clean the surface. He continues to lightly massage my back with the rag, working his way down. Once he finishes, he uses the dry part of it to dry the area. I'm honestly amazed at how fast these have healed. New humans had this unique ability. I didn't realize it was so strong. Begins to unravel some of the bandages, and starts wrapping them around my lower torso. It's not really something I notice. It's just always been this way. Strong paws weave around my body, swathing me in the stretched cloth. Each time he touches me, the sensation manages to stay for a moment. This should keep everything nice and safe. Before he finishes, he rubs his thumb near the area where the branding scar is. Damn you, Adris. Ties off the bandages and claps his paws together, brushing the palms. All set. Turn around and pick up my shirt, sliding it back on and pulling my hair out from inside the collar. Thank you. It's no problem at all. Actually, would you mind helping me with something? Not at all. Could you help me out of this armor? I need to start preparing the turkey. He nods his head in the direction of the dead bird, the feathers of the bird's fan blowing in the gentle breeze. Sure. Can you not get it off on your own? He begins to unlatch the leather straps on the breastplate. Oh, believe me, I can. It just takes forever. Walking over to one of the rocks, he sits down on it and continues undressing. I stand up successfully and walk over to him as he fizzles with the straps of his gauntlet. My legs feel a bit unsteady, but I manage just fine. Here. I take his arm and pull the straps away, slipping the gauntlet off of his paw. Thank you. That's always the hardest part. Once the gauntlet's off, I remove his pauldron and the chainmail padding on his other shoulder. Those are a bit more tricky, but once off, he rolls his shoulders in sighs. Why did you put all of this on, anyway? Just to go and hunt a turkey? You forget we're wanted criminals. I unlatch his cape from the leather clasp and bundle it up, setting it down on the rock next to us. Don't want to be caught unarmed and unarmored. Right. Now on to the breastplate. He's already done a few of the buckles, so I just undo the back. Some of the parts on the back weren't even latched. There's no way Lau would be able to reach back there, so I don't bring it up. I take another component away one at a time and set them neatly off to the side. By the end of it, Lau's left in just a pair of trousers. I fold up a colorful red tartan and place it neatly on top of the cape. Lau throws on a shirt from the rucksack, pulling it over his head and pushing his fur out through the neck hole. It falls down around his shoulders, chest and back in large tufts. That feels much better. Thank you. I don my head, and before I can think of what to do next, he dives into one of the drawstring bags. Do you want to feed Finley? Oh, sure. Got some carrots here for him. He carried the both of us for a whole day, so I think it's time the two of you were properly acquainted. He tosses me a carrot and I barely catch it, fumbling into my hands. Just go on up to him and hold it out near his mouth. It won't bite. Lau picks up the turkey and brings it over to a large rock further away from the camp, a large knife in hand. He lays the leather tarp on the rock and begins plucking the feathers away from the body. And it's at this point I'd realize I'd rather not watch. Take a few slow steps towards Finley, but he barely acknowledges my presence. Once I get close enough to touch him, reach out and run my hand along his dark coat of fur. His ears turn back, a sign that he's noticed me, and I gently continue to brush him with my hand. Walk up to where his head is and hold out the carrot. He doesn't seem interested in it. I place my hand on his nose and rub in steady motions. Suddenly, he lifts his head and nips at my finger. Pull away and call out in the direction of Lyle, eyes still trained on Finley. He tried to bite me, I think. Don't worry, he's just nervous. He needs a little reassurance. He won't actually bite you. Take his word to heart and hold out my hand again. This time petting up near the bridge of his nose. Finley closes his eyes and snorts, which makes me laugh. He seems to be leaning into my hand at this point. Hold out the carrot again, and Finley takes it into his mouth. With each bit, I help push it into his mouth. He chews it up and soon it's gone. He's very pleasant. Glad you're getting along with him. Tends to like everyone. You can now hear Lau chopping the turkey up into different sections. I can also smell it. Fresh meat. Poor guy was under strict guard in the stables. I'm certain he grew to detest whoever had to guard him. I'm hoping he bit them at least. Pay to see Adrius get bit by him. Yeah. I look back at Finley. His eyes black like ink and shining bright. Such a gentle creature. Tygren helped make him. He also created that turkey. And Lyle. It's funny, someone like the headsman is a horseman, and Finley is a horse. Even though the similarities are there, I rarely ever notice them. It's just natural to me, I suppose. There's plenty of differences, but the likeness raises plenty of questions. I'll have to ask Tygren sometime. I'll have to tell Lyle about Tygren as well. Perhaps while we eat. Lyle tosses some of the turkey's bits into a worn-out bag, and then places the meat and other parts that need to be cooked onto a small board. After he sets the board by the campfire, he takes a small tarp with the rest of the meat and ties it up like a bag. At night I'll hang this in one of the trees so that nothing can get to it. Good idea. He takes a pail of water near the fire and begins to wash the pieces of meat off one by one. After all of them are cleaned off, he places them into the pot of boiling water. Oh my gosh, he's so pretty. So pretty. After a long time of waiting with a rumbling stomach, the food's just about ready. It's already dark out, and as I look around, I notice that all of the flowers have begun to glow a soft pink color. It takes my mind off of the food. Wow. Yeah. Picked a pretty great spot, huh? I try to stifle my chuckle, but it's no use as I watch the grin spread across his face. It's enchanting. He continues to stir the pot, and he picks off one of the flowers, gently pinching it between his claws. The glow still remains. Most of the flora in this region can do this. Helps keep them warm during the winter. It's incredible. You should see the golden timber this time of year. Guys, I forgot this universe has an Erd tree. Guys, did you forget about the Lyre Erd tree? Because I forgot about the Lyre Erd tree. The leaves on the trees grow a bright sunshine yellow, casting a soft light over the entire forest. Never seen something like this before. Takes the pot from off one of the prop sticks and pours the contents into 2 wooden bowls. I can smell the broth all the way from where I sit. It has a savory smell, which makes my stomach impatient. I'm sure the flowers of your kingdom are just as exceptional. Not really. We laugh at that and he stands, bringing me a bowl of stew. Large chunks of boiled turkey float in the center, surrounded by chopped carrots, and topped with enough spices to make my mouth water. Along with this, he pulls a large pink fruit out from behind his back. Jag and apricot. Enjoy your meal, my lord. He says this with a certain cadence to his voice. Sounds a bit like Gerard. I don't like it. Thank you, my knight. He sits down across from me, his fur shining in the light of the fire. I tip the bowl up to my mouth, and the second my tongue touches the broth, I'm in heaven. God, this is amazing. It's okay, I could have... Shut up. This is the first real food I've had in what feels like forever. I've forgotten what meat that wasn't meat for pigs tasted like. You do not get to sit there and say this dish is mediocre. He crosses his arms and smirks, shaking his head. Never thought I'd make a better chef than a swordsman. You can be you can be good at more than one thing. You clearly know your way around both the sword and the paintbrush. There. He pours a bit of water into the empty pot and rolls it around the side before tossing the slurry into the bushes. I continue eating, tipping the entire bowl up and practically pouring it into my mouth. Then I take a bite of the fruit, the juice practically pouring into my mouth. It's as sweet as I remember it being. It's almost funny. He's the wolf and he's eating so slow and in such a polite manner. Compared to me, sitting here scarfing down my food like a ravenous animal. I have to wonder if his species of wolf are also as courteous while eating. Specifically, the feral ones. Once I finish what's in my bowl, I'm reminded of what I wanted to tell Lyle over supper. I set the bowl down and clasp my hands together. Lyle? He looks up, some stew coating his upper lip. Quickly licks it away. Yes, Richter? I need to tell you something. You have to promise me that you won't freak out. What happened? It's nothing bad. Just hear me out, okay? Crosses his arms and sets his bowl down. Okay. Confessing it feels like jumping off a cliff into the ocean. Once I take that initial leap, the words just come spilling out from my mouth. And so, I tell him everything. I start with the fact that I'm the mortal avatar of Tygren. I tell him about Tygren reaching out to me in the mind's eye after Raynar's murder. The dreams I would have. The headaches. The retrocognitive visions. I tell him about how the entire time I was in the dungeons, I had to push myself to my very limits. I even tell him about a few of the vision I'd been able to glean from the mind's eye. He's silent throughout my entire explanation, but I can tell he's listening. When I finish, he leans back in his seat, hands behind his head. So Leaf was onto something that day. So you believe me? Aye. He sighs and gestures north with his thumb. When you were in the dungeons, Leaf summoned me to his study. Went on and on about stuff like this. He was seeing you had the power of God behind you, and other things along those lines. Said it was possible you were one of the great emissaries or something. I questioned it at first, thinking he was just on another one of his grand breakthroughs. But that night, I got to thinking, and realized everything was adding up. That dream you had where you were Raynar, it just seemed a bit too coincidental. Leans forward, pressing his elbows on his knees. Not only that, but if you managed to convince Leaf, who's typically a man of reason, maybe it was true. I don't know. All I knew was that something was going on. I can prove it to you. Raises an eyebrow at that. How? It was a few days before you would leave for Dries.
Okay, I had to make a break in the recording because I got really dizzy all of a sudden. Okay, but now we're finishing Lyre for real. You're about 13 years old. You and Adrius were in the gardens, and you promised him that the journey to Dries would be fine. When the Queen came to tell you the news you had been waiting to hear, you were so excited. To be able to train under your hero, it was a dream come true. You were well on your way to becoming a knight. Val looks a bit shocked, but composes himself. That was certainly creepy. The past few months of mental torture have chipped away at my disposition, so I apologize if that was a little uncalled for. Lyle shrugs. I'll get used to it. But yeah, I suppose I believe you. Good, because I don't think I could deal with you not believing me while also being bombarded by all of this. If it makes you feel any better, you're the only one I've told. Oh, trust me, I'm not mad at all. I'm mainly concerned. About what? About you. It must have been terrifying for you to go through all of that. Sit down on the grass, using the rock I was previously sitting on as a prop for my back. Believe me, it was. Some of the scariest moments of my life has happened in those visions. But something I've come to appreciate in the end. Who knows where I'd be without this blessing? Lau stands up, picking our bowls up off the ground and pouring some of the water from the pail into them to wash them out. It kept me going, among other things. I say this while gesturing to him, which he smiles about with a slight nod. So, you can just have these visions whenever? Most of the time. Right now, I feel like if I tried to see anything, I'd throw up, though. Also, if the event was more recent, it's harder to see. Like looking through blurry glass, or a distorted reflection. Sits down in front of the fire, staring into it with focused eyes. Is that why you were so sure Adrius murdered Raynar? At the end of the trial? I nod, and he bites his lip nervously. And you can feel these visions? As if you're actually there?
In every way. He winces at this. God.
So you experience death?
In a way. I also saw the whole thing from Adrius's point of view. It was horrific, feeling what it was like to kill someone. I hated every second of it.
Yeah. So...
Oh, one other thing. Tygren gave me an order to travel to Dries.
Why would you need to go to Dries?
I need to go to the Temple of Hyeda. They said it's south of the Drysian Canyons. It's where I'm supposed to finish my training. Lyle stares into the fire and then looks up at me, his eyes like black mirrors.
Is this what you want? Do you really want to be this emissary?
The words come out with a bit of trepidation.
Do you even have a choice?
Realized that I had never actually asked myself this question. Can't stay in Lyre. Can't go back to Aaron after what's happened. Even if I did, I'm not sure what I'd do. This feels like the only path I can take. It's the path I'm supposed to take. There's nothing for me back in Aaron. Can't stay in Lyre either. My only option is to go to Dries and figure everything out. Lyle continues to stare into the fire, his ears back and his tail limp. He's as still as a statue. Then he breaks the silence, looking up at me with a determined gaze.
I'll come with you.
Hearing him say this takes a weight off my chest that I didn't even know was there. Thank you. I knew that you feel like you have a certain duty to fulfill with me, but I need to know something.
What is it?
If you didn't have any honorable obligations to be by my side, would you still stay with me?
Forever.
He looks down, sad expression on his face.
I've abandoned my vows. Raynor is dead and Adrius killed him. I'll never see my mother or father again, most likely. I'm wanted for treason and murder, so the sooner I leave Lyre, the better. Wherever you go, I'll go.
Murder? He takes a deep breath and interlocks his fingers.
I wanted to tell you.
His voice is shaking. What are you talking about? What happened?
I told you how the headsman helped me escape, right?
Yes?
He wasn't the only one I came across down there.
Starts rubbing his eyes, trying to dry tears that are beginning to form. He takes another deep breath and continues.
There was a castle guard assisting him. He was going to alert the others. Stopping him was the only thing I could think of. I had to save you. I swung my sword into the back of his head, almost decapitating him and killing him instantly. I didn't even know his name. It just happened so fast. I had to act, I had to.
He doesn't notice that I've gotten up and sat down next to him until I hug him from the side. I can feel his large body trembling as he tries to stifle a sob.
Remember when we spoke in the gardens? You said we grow up being taught to feel a certain way about things. Yet after a while, we become numb to those things? Even if it's in our nature?
Yes, I remember.
My mind shut down as well. The part that scares me, though, is how quickly I was able to get over it. There's something wrong with me.
Lyle, you did what you had to. Raynor tasked you with protecting me, and you strive towards that goal through every obstacle.
I'd never killed someone before.
He's now violently shaking and sobbing into his paws.
I hated it. But that's the worst part. No matter how much I hated it, I'd do it all over again if it meant protecting you.
He leans into me, holding me tight.
Because I love you, Richter.
He continues to cry while holding me. I realize I've never seen him this distraught before. I love you too, Lyle. We sit there in silence for a few minutes, the only sound being the rustling of the tree leaves. I watch as little bugs fly around us, their tails lit up with a blue glow. After a few more minutes of silence, Lyle mumbles something to me.
Can I tell you something?
Of course. He takes another deep breath and calms down,
his voice still trembling. A while back, whenever I had the time in the mornings or in the afternoon, I would go on these long walks up the coast of the fjord. I'd either watch the sun rise over the waters on the horizon, or sit behind the castle and the mountains behind it. I took these walks whenever I wanted to think. I'd go very far up the cliffs most of the time, so I could see the land around me. No matter how high I went, it always seemed so small. He pulls away from our embrace, resting his elbows on his knees. I enjoyed watching the sunset most. I'd always look off to the east and dream about being able to travel far beyond those mountains, beyond the snowy forests, the rolling hills and the countryside.
Oh my gosh. Because Lyle, he always wanted to travel the world. But now his king is dead, and they're wanted for murder, so he has the perfect excuse. Oh my gosh. He pokes a stick into the fire aimlessly, watching the flames dance around the disturbance he's making.
When I was knighted, I thought I had finally achieved everything I had wanted. However, with each day that passed, I considered leaving it all behind, abandoning my vows and running off somewhere far away. I could become a sellsword, or work as a hired guard. Then I would be free to do whatever I wanted. I'm glad I never left, because then I would have never met you. You give me purpose, make me happy. Above all, I want to go everywhere with you. Place my hand on him and pet him a little, rubbing his back side to side.
I want that too.
But there was a reason you stayed, even before I came here, wasn't there? He taps the stick onto one of the rocks surrounding the fire pit, pieces of burnt wood crumbling away from the tip. Tears stain the fur of his cheeks, his eyes wet and puffy. Of course there was. Had a family here. There was no blood relation, but that didn't matter to me. Raynar was like a father to me. He was interested, dedicated to my training. Not only that, but he would specifically invite me to dine with him and the other Ajians on more than one occasion. He taught me things that I would never learned without him. Don't laugh, but when I was younger, I had difficulty reading and writing. I still do, sometimes. Same, Lyle, same. The words didn't make much sense to me, and I'd mix them up.
I do that actively. Don't worry, Lyle, I do that all the time.
My father didn't pay it any mind, not really seeing it as a major issue that needed to be corrected. Raynar did, however. He would sit down with me a few days a week and we would practice. I never truly got over it, but he helped me a lot. I guess I'm telling you all this because they all meant a lot to me. Even Hadrius. He was like the little brother I never had.
Tosses the stick into the fire, one of the logs falls, sending sparks into the air.
Elena was like a mother for everyone, considering she was the queen, but she and I were fairly close as well. She was good friends with my mother too. When I was very, very young, I remember Raynar and Elena came up to Hadolf Hold to visit. I remember being confused as to who this strange woman was, and why my mother acted like she was her sister. It was great.
Realizing you have never talked about your parents much, Lord Marcus Reed and
Lady Yuvea Reed.
Lady Yuvea Reed.
Yuvea? Lady Yuvea. Lady Yuvea Reed.
Yes. What are they like?
My father is a fair and honorable man, yet can also be very loud. My mother is stern and bold. She can also be the kindest woman you've ever met. She made that tartan over there.
He points to the cloth sitting on top of his cape.
It was actually my swaddling cloth when I was a baby. It's tradition for a Reed to wear it into battle. We do it to honor our parents. I love both of them dearly. I hope to see them again one day. If I ever get a chance.
Do all wolves' eyes turn yellow when they're angry? Bites his lip in embarrassment.
It happens to most Lyrian wolves, yes. Specifically the Reeds. Nobody has an explanation for it, Is it magical? Both my parents had the same thing. I once got my mother so angry, her eyes were like gold coins. It scared the piss out of me. You think Adrius could turn them against you? Lau belts out a short guffaw. He couldn't turn them against me. He couldn't turn them against me no matter what he decides to tell them. Excluding them from the trial due to bias was already a slight against them. It's not like I was the one on trial. Well... He presses a finger to my lip to shush me, which makes my eyes widen. Realize he's trying to be funny, so I let him continue. My parents still love and respect me, even after revealing myself to be homosexual. I'm sure falling in love with a regicidal maniac is just as tolerable, wouldn't you agree? Good God. Is that how everyone sees me? The way they see it, you killed one king and then punched the next one in the face. After that, you're either crazy or really dedicated to getting a death sentence as soon as possible. The last king deserved that punch. Mal chuckles to himself, shaking his head. That he did. I wish I'd stuck around to see more. If you did, then we probably wouldn't be standing here. He concedes with a short huff from his nose. I take it back then. Rocks back and forth in a seated position, then stands up, brushing off his pants with his paws. You think you're well enough to travel in the morning? I can get some decent food in my stomach again, sure. Where are we going, aside from the destination? Well, we're north of Hailing Cove right now. I'd like to stop there before we head further south, just in case there's anything else we might need. I'm not sure if it's safe for you to be seen there, so I'll probably leave you with Finley. Shouldn't take more than an hour, so we should be fine. After that, we'll keep heading south. There's a river with a fork just before Ardglass. We'll make our way down along the base of the mountains and cross at the area before it forks. I'll need to find the part that's shallow enough for Finley to carry you across, and I don't want to take the main road. Rattles off all these locations and places without stopping to take a breath, and almost wonder if he has the entire map of Tygren memorized. If anybody did, he would. Once we cross, we'll make our way further south to Galemore Wood. That should give us some cover. How long will it take us to get there? If we continue to travel light and waste no time, it should take us a few weeks at best. He brushes the fur around his neck with his paws while he thinks. You should get some rest. You're going to need it, and I can't have you sleeping on Finley. If you fell off, I'd be laughing too hard to be able to forgive myself. I've been resting for a week. I don't even feel tired. Nods his head towards the bedroll and sighs. Rest. Even if it's only for a little bit. Looking over at the bedroll, I remember how cozy it was. Helps me realize just how chilly I am. Fine. Stand up and carefully step around the campfire, making my way to the bedroll. I sit down on it and look up at Lyle. He's standing on a rock, leaning against the walls of the cliff. Look around and notice that there's no bed for him. Are you going to sleep as well? Looks down at me and gives me a tired smile. I'll be fine. Remember, I don't sleep much. It's you human to enjoy doing it all the time. Oh, yeah. Guess that's true. Still, where have you been sleeping? Points to a spot next to me, just by the fire. There's a bag propped up against a rock that I assume he was using as a pillow of sorts. Oh. Whenever I was sleeping, it was over there. Imagine him resting by my side, waiting and hoping for me to wake up. He's probably so worried throughout the past week. Wonder how long he would have waited. I'm going to go get some wood to add to the fire. I don't want you getting cold throughout the night. Jumps down from the rock and heads over to where Finley is hitched. There's plenty of branches lying on the ground over there, so we shouldn't have a problem. Looking around, I noticed that same book I'd seen earlier. Its pages float by gently in the breeze, and I realized that there's small drawings on them. Did Lyle bring his sketchbook? Actually, really sweet. No, it's silly, but things like that are the reasons why I like him so much. Pick up the sketchbook and close it to keep everything safe. But when I do, a loose page sticks out to the side. Opening it back up, I pull the drawing out and realize what it is. It's Thous Rikuta. It's a portrait of me. My eyes are closed, my hair is long and sprawled out, flung down around my head in thick curls. Do I really look like that with a beard? I run my hand over the rough, prickly surface of my chin. Maybe I should keep it. I look so old. Being in the dungeons might have caused that. I drew that a few days ago. Val stands on the other side of the fire pit. Didn't even notice him making his way over. I'm sorry. You look so peaceful and... Don't be sorry. It's very good. He blushes a bit and gives a sheepish smile. Thank you. I hand him the sketchbook and go to lay down on the bedroll. Before I can slip under the top layer, a thought crosses my mind. I want him to lay with me. I want him to hold me in his arms and share this bedroll with me. If he's gonna urge me to sleep, then I want him to join me. We can finally have what we didn't get that night. We can claim what was taken from us. Lyle? Yes, Richter? Would you care to join me in bed? Cocks an eyebrow for a split second, then smiles. A light puff of breath releasing from his nose as he snickers to himself. You're in no state for that kind of fun, Richter. I'm absolutely certain I'd break you in two. Holy shit. Well, shut up. Not that. I just want you to sleep by my side. I want you to hold me. Miles stops laughing, and a blush spreads across his face. But what about keeping watch? Someone has to stay. I guess I could just... Okay. He takes in a deep breath. Yes, I suppose we can do that. With no clothes. Alright. Val walks over to one of the bags and begins taking off his shirt. As he does this, I take off my clothes too. Once I have it pulled over my head, I throw it over in the direction of Lyle's armor. It lands on top of his pauldron in a wad, and I reach down to start unfastening my trousers. Once those are loosened, I lay on my back and stick my legs in the air, pulling each pant down around my ankles. I pull each of my feet out and throw the pants off to the side. Lay back on the bedroll and look over at Lyle. He's wearing just his underwear, bent over, stuffing his wadded up clothes into the rucksack. His big tail sways back and forth, resting on top of his ample rear. His underwear leaves little to the imagination. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'd almost forgotten how great your ass is. And I'd forgotten how forward you can be. I mean it. What did you do to get your legs so big? He bites his lip, then answers. Running. And I mean a lot of running. Also footwork. Really? Oh, yes. Put a sword in a man's hand, and you'll find it's his legs that do most of the work. He says this, then slaps his thigh with his right paw. The surface ripples slightly. I can tell from the firmness that there's plenty of muscle underneath all of that fur. I haven't seen him in this light since that fateful night. There's something different, though. Now I'm able to notice all the little details about his body. The way his shoulders are adorned with large tufts of fur, which then run down his back. The slight pudge to his stomach when he's rested. The way his chest rises and falls with each breath he takes, no matter how relaxed. His thighs are wide with muscle, showing off just how strong his legs are. Don't pay attention to his feet often. With the way they're shaped, wonder how hard it is to walk on paws. Doesn't seem to have an issue with it. Like what you see? Very much, yes. He walks around the fire, the light casting a bright glow onto him, showing off every curve and every chiseled muscle. He kneels down in front of me and looks over my body, raising a paw to run through my hair. I lean into his touch, letting him caress my face with his huge paw. As he does this, I run my hand up and down his muscular arm, feeling the density of his forearm and the curve of his bicep. He shudders as I do this, giving me a feeling of dominance I'm not used to having with men of his size. Being able to pleasure him with something as simple as a touch fills me with pride. Fills me. All I want to do is make him happy. How did you want to lay down? Oh, I was thinking something like this. Take his paws and lean back onto the bedroll, pulling him down by my side as I do. Aww. Situate myself in front of him and nestle myself into his waist. My back presses up against his chest and stomach, the latter acting as a cushion. I mean this as a compliment. You're a lot softer than you look. I don't look soft? I wasn't talking about the fur. Nudge him in the belly as I say this. Oh, I suppose I have been eating a bit more lately. I'm trying to keep my energy up. I like it. Makes this all the more enjoyable. Shimmy into him like a big furry blanket. Ha! What's only going to get better from here? Why's that? When I was a guard, I had to follow a somewhat strict diet. Well, I didn't have to, but as a captain, I figured it was best I follow the same rules as everyone else. Set a good example. And now you don't have to? He chortles to himself, the shot of breath rushing over my head. Now I don't have to. He hugs me tighter. Only gonna get bigger, too. How so? You may have stopped growing at 16, but unlike humans, the rest of us don't really hit our maximum height until our mid-20s. I'll be a whole head taller in a couple of years. Really? Mm-hmm. That's how tall my father is. You're gonna need heeled boots. Though he had a bit of a gut. Says this last part under his breath, chuckling to himself. I'll love you either way. Still, that's pretty tall. Hopefully I can keep up. Pats my head with his paw. Richter, you don't have to worry about a thing. The bigger I am, the easier it will be to shield you. It is my sworn duty. He says that last part with a posh inflection to his voice, getting a laugh out of me. Pulling me tighter into his warm embrace, he scoots back and tucks me against him. Aww. So wild. That's so cute. He's warm and soft, his long neck fur falling down around my upper body as he leans forward, resting his head above mine. I can feel his warm breath fall down around the back of my neck as he lets out a sigh of pleasure. My hair rests against the top of the bedroll, the long curls spreading out along the leathery surface. Should have my hair cut soon. Maybe Lyle could help me with that. As we settle into our positions, he clears his throat and whispers into my ear. I wish we had gotten to do this all those weeks ago. I sometimes lie awake at night, wonder how things would have gone if you stayed with me in my room. We could have just never answered the door, pretended we weren't there, lie under the covers, and continue to enjoy the rest of our night. I wish we had. We would have been met with the terrible tragedy in the morning, but is it selfish for me to wish for an outcome where we could have been blissfully ignorant? He pauses to think for a moment, running his paw along my thigh slowly. I'm not sure. After what we've been through, what you've been through, I don't think it is. I just wish moments like these could last forever. No interruptions. Softly chuckles and pats my thigh with his paw. So do I. We lie there for a few more minutes, listening to the fire crackle and the leaves blowing in the wind. Lyle? Don't get a response. His soft snoring clues me into the fact that he's now fast asleep. Scoot further into him and close my eyes, letting him surround me. Before I relax into the light amount of sleep I plan to get, thought crosses my mind. Counting the days I was in the dungeons was easy until after the trial. But if it's been a week since we escaped, it must be somewhere around the 20th of Nox. Turned 20 a few days ago. He is only 20 years old. Richter is only 20. Huh. I missed his birthday. No matter how comfortable I am, I'm only able to sleep for a short while. I expected this, considering how much I've already rested so far. Feels like it was maybe 3 or 4 hours of sleep at best. Still, I lay there with my eyes closed, Lyle still wrapped tightly around me. I hold his paw as he gently snores, trying not to wake him. It's weird, sleeping next to someone like this. It's a very intimate thing. I'm also trying my hardest not to wake him. Fire crackles quietly as we lay there, the heat falling down onto us in gentle waves. I open my eyes for a moment. When I'm about to close them again, I spot something out of the corner of my eye. Through the gap in the trees, I'm able to see the entire sky is lit up with a bright blue and green light. Each ray dances through the night sky, casting a colorful glow over each star. It's as if the sky had caught fire, engulfed in blue flames. Lyle. I nudge his arm with my elbow, trying to wake him carefully. Lyle! I feel him jolt and he rises in his reclined position. What is it? He's alert now, his ears tilting side to side as I roll over to look at him out of the corner of my eye. Look at the sky. He looks up and a smile graces his face. Oh. What's happening with it? This always happens during this time of year. All of the Northerners know them as the Flames of Tygren. They're pretty, huh? Yes, they are. He rests his paw down by my forearm, but I pull it back and have him hold my hand. He lays on the bedroll and I lay on top of him. Guys, I think there's some kind of northern lights. His big furry chest was one of the nicest pillows I've ever used. The north is more different from the west than I thought it would be. Too many traditions and odd phrases I'd never heard of. Think back to when Lyle was enraged earlier and started yelling at what sounded like a different language. Earlier, you were speaking words I've never heard before. Was that some sort of old Lyrian language? He takes a moment to answer, and clicks his tongue against the roof of his mouth. It's actually a language that predates Lyre. It's called Lyran. Lyran? Hearing him say it, I think I can recall reading about it in an old tome. The reeds are descended from an ancient people called the Lyre. The Lyre. Is that why the kingdom was named Lyre? There's been some controversy around the idea. It's what most people believe to be true. The language isn't commonly used anymore, but the reeds still teach it for certain reasons. Reasons mostly rooted in tradition. He mumbles this as his cheek presses into the bedroll. Can you say something in Lyran? I'm not as fluent as you might think. I haven't been around anyone who speaks it in over a decade. I only know certain words or phrases, and a lot of swear words. Please? Fine. He clears his throat, slightly lifting his head from the padded cloth. He then proceeds to give voice to several different words. They come out in a pitch accent and sound very sing-song. It's almost like he's reading poetry. That was pretty. What does it mean? Atmac? Atmac, you're not going to tell me what the words in the made-up language are? Like, I understand it's a made-up language, but you're not even gonna pretend to, like, give me, like, cool fantasy, like, fake language words? Really? Okay, whatever. What does it mean? That was a knight's vow. Like I said, I only know some words and phrases. Could you teach me someday? He pulls me in a bit closer and sighs. Sure, I could. One day, love. We stare up at the sky, watching as the lights dance across the stars. Violet, blue, and green, the lights shimmer and change before our eyes in ways I couldn't even imagine. It makes sense these are called the Flames of Tygren. They remind me of the flames that jump along their shoulders and back. I realize I haven't thought about using the mind's eye at all. Even if I could, I doubt I'd want to. It's nice to not have to worry about using it to see my skin. It's nice to just lay here in Lyle's arms. Even with the Royal Army breathing down our necks, being on the run like this is preferable to being trapped in that cell. It's nice to just feel safe. After a while, the lights dissolve into the rest of the night sky, and the stars are a bit more visible. I roll over onto Lyle, who grunts as I do, happily brings me into a deep embrace. I look at our bodies. His large and covered in fur, mine a bit smaller with only skin and some hair. A relationship like ours, I don't see it as anything but beautiful. Something about it that's so special to me. So different from each other in so many ways, it makes everything so much better. I can't understand how anyone in Lyre could see something like this and think wrongly of it. I suppose that's the problem. All they see is what's on the outside. They base everything off their surface level knowledge. They'll never truly know the love we have for each other. 誰も知らない感情で. How it continues to grow and flourish. Every day it becomes stronger. I doubted myself before, but now I know what love is. As I lay there thinking about our differences, I realize that it might be our downfall. Two of us are currently trying to avoid anyone noticing us, yet we're not exactly a duo that blend into a crowd. Large wolfman and a human traveling together is not very common in these parts. Humans alone aren't common at all. Lyle? Yes, love? I was just thinking about how much the two of us stand out in a crowd. Do you have any way to help me stand out less? Maybe some clothes to help hide my identity? I already get stared at plenty just for being a human in this kingdom. I'm afraid if I'm with you, someone is bound to recognize us. He shuffles in his rested position, and I get up, turning around instead of straddling his waist, looking down at him. Don't worry, I thought of that too. Points up to the lantern hanging on the clothesline. Once we put that fire out, it's going to get pretty cold. I got you some traveling clothes from the Healing Cove while I was there. Points to the rucksack sitting on one of the rocks. I didn't know your size, but I'm pretty sure they should fit you just fine. There's a scarf and a coat too, so they should keep you warm. Rub his cheek in a loving manner. You're so thoughtful. Also made some preparations for other ways to hide your identity. I lean back a bit, raising my eyebrow. Like what? First, I was thinking I could give your fur a haircut. Oh, I was actually thinking that too. My hair's gotten a bit too long for my taste. Still, unless you plan on shaving my head, I don't see how that would hide my identity. That's the other thing. I picked up the necessary, regents? That's the word. I picked up the necessary regents to dye your hair in a different color. Dye my hair? Yes, it's a simple yet lengthy process, but I learned all about it from a very nice lady in town. She works with cutting and dyeing fur, and she told me how to do it and what to get. I'll have to thank her if we ever see her again. And if it turns out like she said it would... Lyle wants to dye my hair? It's a bit strange, but I'm not too turned off by the idea. As long as it's not permanent. Sure, we can try that. Are you sure you know how to do it? Puts his paws behind his head, resting into the softer part of the bedroll. Shouldn't be any harder than maintaining all of this, he says while nodding down to the fur around his neck. After a while, I started cutting it myself. Always wanted to style hair for someone. Heard about all the crazy things humans do with their hair. It's a lot easier to work with than fur. When do you want to do it? Closes his eyes, letting out a deep sigh and reclining into the bedroll. Give me a few more minutes to rest, and I'll get up and get everything ready. We're gonna do it now. I'm too comfortable right now. And... you sitting on my lap isn't helping. Ha. Put a bit more of my weight down onto him. Rest a bit longer then. I lean down and rest my head against his chest again, and he places his paw on my head. Just know, I think your hair is pretty just the way it is. Thank you. Love you, Lyle. He squeezes me tight and kisses the top of my head. You have no idea how happy it makes me when you say that. Love you too, Richter. Aw. Richter's gonna get a Season 2 costume change? We're back to Adrius. We're bouncing back to Adrius. Guys, how much longer is this chapter? I don't know. I was gonna say I was expecting there to be some like climactic finale with like I guess like Lyle having to fight the entirety of the like Heart's cavalry or whatever. But it does make sense that that wouldn't happen immediately. Yeah, in my head earlier I was wondering like how is the like Lyre story going to be resolved in one chapter? And I guess the answer is it just isn't. It seems like the story isn't going to be resolved immediately in this chapter, which in retrospect makes a lot of sense. In retrospect, it does make sense that the entirety of the like Lyre narrative wouldn't be resolved in this one novel, especially since I've heard they're like doing a sequel series called Dries or something. They're doing a Dries series. So I do actually like that the novel kind of ends on like a pseudo cliffhanger that leaves the series open to explore more ideas in the future rather than just like hastily wrapping everything up in one big climactic last chapter. I do like that we actually get some like breathing room here and some setup for what's to come in the future. It's not every day you get like a furry visual novel like this that is like willing to commit to being like a long running like multi-part epic like it seems like Lyre is setting itself up to be. I don't know. I was kind of disappointed at first whenever I realized that we weren't going to get like some kind of like climactic showdown in chapter 13 here, but in retrospect, like it makes a lot of sense that we like didn't. But we're back to Adrius. Adelisa. Sitting on the sofa in his room, Adrius rests his elbows on his knees, staring at the floor with a tired face. Holds a glass of water in his hands, small amount left at the bottom. Closes his eyes, trying to subdue the headache pounding away at his skull. Home's end. Surely Liz understands why he wants to take action. Still, Dries is once again making things difficult. Another painful bout of pressure beats at the side of his head. Okay, I'm gonna mention this now, I doubt this will happen, but I do think it would be interesting if like Richter and like Adris had dichotomy as like protagonist and antagonist in the fact that like we all know that Richter has the mind's eye and his like connection to Tygren and everything, and he's able to see into like past memories. At one point I was sort of wondering like what if Adrius like awakens to his own power and he can like see into the like future or something. I doubt they would do that. I doubt that would happen, but with the way he's getting these headaches similar to the ones Richter had gotten. And like you remember back in the dungeon whenever like Leaf had given Richter some of that headache medicine, like Adrius had taken some of it. So it could be that like Adrius is awakening to some sort of power since he has the same like headaches that like Richter had. And especially with the way like Adrius like obsesses over fate and everything. Right, whenever he was like torturing Richter down in the dungeons, he kept like spewing on and on about like fate and wanting to like take hold of the future and everything. Like what if he does get like some sort of like future vision or something? I don't know, that's my Lyre crack theory, okay? I don't think that will actually happen, but I think it'd be cool if it did. But it probably won't actually happen. Another painful bout of pressure beats at the side of his head, and then like I said, Richter and Adrius, they'd have like a dichotomy there with like Richter as a protagonist having the ability to see into the past, Adrius the antagonist having the ability to see into the future or something. I don't know, it'd be kind of cool. I doubt they do that though. Another painful bout of pressure beats at the side of his head. Richter. It's only a matter of time before the Heart's cavalry track them down and capture them. Time that Adrius will enjoy. Still, Adrius keeps asking himself the same question over and over. How did Richter know of the passage behind the fireplace? And his eyes. The way they changed color in the dungeon. He's hiding something. Those eyes weren't just changing color. They were unlike any eyes he had ever seen before. Each pupil was shining as if it lit in a natural flame. They pulled him in like a whirlpool. Adrius takes a sip of water, tipping the glass back and emptying it down his throat. Knowing of the fireplace was advantageous, but there was something else that helped him. He sets the glass to the side, the cup rolling on the cushion of the couch. It's painful how guiltless you are, or how oblivious you choose to be. And still, I wonder what has you so afraid. Edgar stands from his seat, walking towards the window in a huff. Leave me alone. I'm sick of you. Not until you stop lying to yourself. I said leave me alone. Adrius has an inner demon. He shouts this into the mirror across the room, resting his arm on the pane of the window and looking down at the ramparts below. You're nervous. No, I'm. Don't lie to me. You can't. Why are you nervous? Adrius stepped away from the window, giving his reflection one last look before turning to the mirror. There, standing on the other side, he sees him. Deep down, you've always been nervous. You've also been holding back. I'm not holding back. Yes, you are. You're doing no favors for Home's End by dancing around your decisions. Adrius turns away from the mirror, resting his hands on the back of the sofa. Done listening to you. I know what I'm doing. Oh, really? The way I see it, you need a good refresher. Something to jog your memory. Adrius hears them approach from behind, the hooves slumping against the floor at a slow pace. Avenging our mother is merely the price of this crusade. We're going to restore this kingdom to its former glory. Furthermore, I need you by my side when we do. I'm the one who got us through everything so far. So, I can't have you messing things up as we take the steps towards our destiny. Adrius grips the cushions, getting angrier by the second. After how you've handled the situation with Father, I'd say it's you who's been sabotaging everything. After what you did. Adrius whirls around, facing the mirror once more. After what we did. I'm tired of your delusions and your denial. Betrayal never comes from your enemies, but from those closest to your heart. And from those who hold you back. That was a necessary step that we took towards a brighter future. We're wasting our time by postponing everything. He takes a deep breath and exhales, blowing it out of his mouth in an exhausted manner. Everything will be fine if you just let me help you. Before we can do that, however, you need to kill that part of you that's holding us back. I've seen you discard it before, so there's no issue there. He tuts while shaking his head. Had I known you were going to be such a problem, I would have never put our ambitions in the hands of an ingenious fool like yourself. Ingenious? Ingenious. Adrius turns on his hoof and walks back over to the couch, his face twitching with anger. You're the fool here. Yet here you stand. Weak and spineless, just like him. Just like Father. Shut up! Adrius reaches down, grabbing the glass and turning around, hurling it at the mirror. The glass careens into the mirror, bursting through the reflective surface with a crash. Some shards fall into the ground, yet the mirror mostly remains intact. Several reflections appear before him, showing different parts of his face or body depending on the angle. It's hard to see them through the tears. There's a quiet knock at the door which snaps him out of his state of shock. Katsuki is interesting. I didn't know Adrius was going to have like an evil alter ego or something. An evil alter ego. But it reminds me of that dream he told his mother about, where he saw like another like wicked, like evil, creepy version of himself. Right? So I guess that was sort of a premonition to whatever's going on here. There's a quiet knock at the door which snaps him out of his state of shock. Quickly drying his tears, Adrius leans in the direction of the door, his eyes still trained on the shards of mirror laying on the ground. Who is it? Gerard, your majesty! It's unlocked. Let yourself in. I would, but my hands are full. If your grace would be so kind as to let me in, I would greatly appreciate it. That's that character's voice, guys. I'm sorry, that's what that character's voice is. Adrius walks to the door and pulls it open with some trepidation. Gerard stands there at the entrance, carrying a large crate. Thank you, your majesty. Adrius steps to the side as Gerard walks in. Where would you like me to put this? What's in there? Adrius looks over the box, realizing it's not only big, but also heavy.
Clothes for your room. I can have them placed in your wardrobe for you. Yet your late father's clothes would still be adequate, though some may be a bit large. I could help you look through them if you'd like.
Gerard sets the crate down by the wardrobe with a loud thud, rubbing his back. That's alright, Gerard. I'll go through them myself in a moment.
Very well. Will that be all? Will that be all?
Yes, thank you. Adrius notices Gerard looking at the shards of mirror on the floor. I tripped. Gerard doesn't acknowledge it and walks towards the door, passing Adrius.
Shall I have someone come up to clean the mess?
Yes, that would be fine. Thank you. Gerard makes his way to the door and slides his hand along the side, beginning to close it. Gerard? He stops closing the door and leans back in.
Yes, Your Majesty?
Adrius taps his hoof while looking at the ground, mustering the words. Thank you for everything you've done. I won't forget it.
No need to thank me, Your Majesty. I'm forever in your service.
Once Gerard closes the door, Adrius shakes his head and makes his way over to the crate. He opens the lid and finds a dozen stacks of neatly folded clothes. He recognizes most of them as being outfits he would wear on occasion. There's even a pair of black robes lined with golden embroidery. His father has pushed him to wear that outfit many times for special occasions. Most of the clothes are dyed in his family colors, but there are a few that diverge from this trend. He takes a few stacks out of the crate and places them inside the doors of the wardrobe. Before he can reach for another set, he sees an ensemble laying at the bottom of the wardrobe. Looks like they may have been his father's clothes. What's odd is that they're not big enough to be something Raynar would have worn recently. Not too old-fashioned either. There's another knock at the door as Adrius sets the outfit on the sofa. Come in and be quick about it.
Your Majesty, it's Leaf.
Adrius turns to the door, cocking an eyebrow. Leaf? Come in. Leaf pushes the door open and shuffles into the room timidly.
Adrius.
What is it, Leaf?
I assume this has something to do with the prosthetic you commissioned?
Didn't think I would be hearing back from you until then. He folds his wings together, wringing them slightly as he stutters out the words.
Yes, the prosthetic is finished and ready. Plated with gold and perfect weight.
Excellent, where is it?
It's, something else I need to tell you.
Adrius sits down on the sofa and pinches the bridge of his nose. What's wrong? Your voice always trembles like that when something's wrong. He bounces his leg as he stands there, nervously fiddling with his gloves. Go ahead and spill it out.
Adrius, I'm so sorry to have to tell you this. I tried everything I could, but after the initial treatment, it's out of my hands. There's truly nothing I can do,
Adrius slams his hands onto the cushion of the sofa, standing up and shouting at Leaf. He walks towards him, which causes Leaf to take a few steps back. Tell me! ...
After a week of tests and research, I've come to a dreadful conclusion. Your antler will not grow back.
The room falls completely silent. The two of them stand there like statues, not moving a single muscle. Leaf's weak voice finally breaks the silence, the noise hitting the walls and clinging to them.
Adrius?
Adrius turns calmly and walks back over to the sofa, sitting down on it. He runs his hand over the vest of his outfit resting on the cushion. He takes a deep breath and speaks. Tell Liz to come see me at her convenience. I need to send some letters. He is now and forever an asymmetrical character. He's now forever an asymmetrical character. It's a metaphor for his split personality and motivations. Rikuta. We're back to Richter. Rikuta. You all dressed? I holler over my shoulder at him, stuffing clothes I was previously wearing into the bottom of the rucksack so they're out of the way.
Yes, just putting away my old clothes. These are really comfortable.
I'm glad you like them.
The camp is starting to feel a little less cozy as the fire pit is now just a pile of charred logs and smoke. If it wasn't for the warm clothes, I'd probably be freezing.
Most of the little things are packed away, so we just need to put everything back on Finley. You'll have to sit in front of me again, since he's going to carry everything on his saddlebags and back. I'll also need you to carry one of the bags in your lap.
Sure. Bend down and start picking up a few things lying around the camp.
Actually, wait. Before we do any of that, I want to show you something.
I set what I've picked up so far back on the ground and brush off my hands. He doesn't move and stares at me until I break the silence. What?
Sorry, I'm just admiring your hair. I don't mean to brag, but it looks a lot better than I thought it would.
Wish I had a mirror, but I'll take your word for it. Wal walks to the edge of the camp, stopping at one of the trees.
Come on, you're gonna like this.
He continues walking, and I leap over one of the rocks, landing in the grass and running forwards to catch up to him. The shoes Lyle got for me feel really nice. The insides feel like a cloud wrapped around my foot, and they're close to my size. It must have been hard for him to find a cobbler in a city like Hailing Cove. Catching up to him, I follow behind at a steady pace as he pushes his way through the trees.
There's a glade up ahead. We should be able to see the sun rising over the eastern mountains.
As I walk by his side, my feet crunching against the frigid grass and branches, I can't help but feel a bit nervous. Soon we're going to begin our journey across most of Lyre. I'm scared, uncertain, feel a slight sense of danger. I know I can do this, though. We can do this. We make our way out into the glade, the trees dusted with a light amount of snow. The morning fog parts, and we stand before a large field which spans all the way up to the horizon. I can see the light of the sun being cast into the sky behind the peaks of the mountains.
Views like this often remind me. Even once the sun sets, you can always count on it to rise again the next morning.
I walk forward, grass moving in waves along the ground. The tree line behind us rustles as a cold breeze blows through my hair, sending a chill over my face. The scenery is freeing. It's beautiful.
Yeah. You seem nervous.
I chuckle at his question, not exactly sure how to answer it. Nervous. Yeah, something like that. The last time I felt this way was when I became a Kestel. He became a Kestel. Lyle takes a step forward and speaks with a curious tone to his voice.
What's a crystal?
I open my mouth as to give an answer, but come to the realization that I don't have a reply. As I stand at the edge of the tree line, mouth agape, those feelings from earlier seem to drift away on the winds. They're instead replaced with determination, optimism, and hope. Above all, I don't feel lost. I don't feel chained down. I don't know. Why did I say that? Before my mind can linger on what I'd said and why I'd said it, an odd feeling comes over me. Then, Lyle tackles me with a hug from behind, leaning down and kissing me on top of my head. I lean into his touch, and he gives me a light squeeze before stepping back and walking to my side.
Are you alright?
I think I am. I'm not sure what comes next. After finding this temple and completing my training, what even comes after that?
I guess that's the beauty of it all.
It's a movie.
Whatever happens, as long as it's with you, it'll be worth it.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh. And that's the end of Lyre. That's the end of book 1. That's the end of book 1 of Lyre. Chronicles of the Emissary. Oh, that's what the series is called? It's called Chronicles of the Emissary, Lyre?
Writing, at Mac. Art, at Mac. Animation, at Mac. Main theme composer, Augustovich. Music, Axios. Augustovich. Scripting, at Mac. Script consultant, Galen Rathweld. Guys, I didn't expect Lyre to be this awesome. Lyre's really cool. I'm not gonna lie, Lyre was always one of these visual novels that I would like see on the recommended page, and I would be like, I don't know, it looks kind of whatever. But after playing Lyre, it's like, I'm sorry, Lyre, right? I wasn't aware of your game, right? I'm sorry for sleeping Lyre. I wasn't aware of Lyre's game. Lyre's like really cool. I think Lyre is probably one of my like top 5 favorite furry visual novels. Probably. It's definitely in the top 5. At least of the ones I've like, most certainly out of like the ones that are finished, you know what I mean? Right, if we narrow down the list of favorite furry visual novels purely to ones that are like completed and finished, Lyre's definitely top 5. And honestly, Lyre's probably in the top 3. It's probably my top 3 favorite furry visual novels, parentheses, especially only considering ones that are actually like finished. Like, I don't know, I didn't expect Lyre to be this cool. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be so like riveting and like compelling as I found it. Because like I saw it was like a sort of like medieval fantasy-ish like political drama type novel. And like the political drama like genre was never really my cup of tea. It was never really anything like I fixated on. But just the way like Lyre like conveys its story, the way it like conveys its characters, I don't know, it keeps it really engaging the whole time, I feel. Right, even the setup to like what ends up being the main plot of the story, being like Reynar's murder. Which is usually the slower part, right? The setup of like the story is usually the like slower part of the story. It's still really fun and interesting to go through, like getting to learn about Lyle, getting to like meet these characters, getting to spend that initial time with. Guys, Adrius is on the cover? Guys, I didn't know Adrius was gonna be on the cover. Holy shit, we get a post-credit scene? Dryas post-credit scene? Look at Adrius. Guys, I love Adrius, I'm sorry. Right? I know he's a papa murdering bastard, but I love him. I love Adrius. Adrius is probably one of my favorite furry visual novel characters. Okay, I will say this though. Adrius is the best antagonist in any furry visual novel ever, right? And you can shoot me for that. You can hang me for that. You can throw me off the castle wall and have me hunted down for that. But like, Adrius is just the best antagonist in any furry visual novel ever, right? Even if we don't talk about like any other aspect of Lyre I love, Adrius is just like, he's just a really interesting antagonist. Did I say protagonist at one point? Antagonist. He's the best antagonist in any furry visual novel ever. Of all time. He just is. And that alone, just that aspect of Lyre alone, definitely like makes it earn its place as like probably like my second favorite parentheses completed and parentheses furry visual novel of all time. I don't know. I didn't expect to like Lyre so much. I don't know, I guess I will just like ramble about Lyre for a little bit. I don't want to ramble too much. Mostly because Deltarune comes out today and I have to go play that when that comes out. Right, Deltarune comes out a couple of like minutes from now, I think. But I don't know. I just really like the characters. I just really like the characters in Lyre. I really like the art. I like how all the art direction has this very like coherent and like persistent like aesthetic to it. It's really cool. It's really cool that most of this visual novel was made by like one person. It was made by one person. That's inconceivable. You know what I mean? It's inconceivable that this entire thing was made by like one person over the course of like I think it was only like a year or so. Like, Lyre finished production like relatively quickly. And like, I don't know. And like I said earlier, I'm sort of disappointed at first when I realized that the story wasn't going to end on like some like big climactic battle like I was thinking it was. It actually ended on more of like a slower note, but that actually does make sense with how it like sets up for the future of the series. Actually, like that they didn't like quickly like rush an ending where everything just happened to like solve itself in the end somehow. It's actually really cool. That it's like setting itself up for like the future. I don't really know what I expect Dries to be about though. Like, I don't really know how like Richter and Lyle are going to be able to like, you know, live a normal life after this. Like, even if they go to the temple in Dries and Richter gets the avatar training, like, I don't know how that really helps him. Unless it like gives him the ability to like broadcast his visions to like the entire populace of Lyre. I don't really understand like how Richter and Lyle can ever really, you know, absolve themselves. Like, even if Richter can see into the past, like, no one's going to believe him, you know? They're fugitives, they're wanted criminals. And they're, like, interspecies lovers, which just makes most of the people at Lyre just hate them fundamentally. The only way I can really see them getting out of this ever is just, like, if Adrius confesses. Which seems like Dries... I don't know. It seems like Dries is going to have, like, Adrius as the sort of cover character, so that might indicate that he's going to be more of the focus of Dries somehow? I don't know. Probably not. He'll probably have as much focus as he did in this novel. But yeah, I just don't really see, like, you know what I mean? Like, Richter and Lyle go to Dries, he trains at the temple, then what? You know? So I am interested to see the future of the Chronicles of the Emissary, as it's called. Chronicles of the Emissary. Man, I love Lyre. And yeah, I feel like we get used to furry visual novels kind of just like wrapping themselves up really quickly, having a very like open and closed, cohesive story where the entirety of the main plot is just sort of instantly resolved within itself. But if you do think back to a lot of like book series and even like TV series, like most book series, they don't really solve every problem the main character is facing within like the first book. You know what I mean? Think to like your favorite book series. A lot of the time, the focus of the novel isn't immediately answered within book one. Book one just has them solve like one problem, it has them tie up one particular plot thread. But then like the bigger like overarching narrative is solved over like the course of a longer book series. And that seems to be what Lyre's doing here, right? We solve the major narrative thread of how does Richter escape his execution, but the larger like narrative thread of like how do we like get true justice for Raynar? How does Richter become like absolved of the murder? That's like an overarching question that we're going to have to see answered over the course of the like the rest of the Chronicles of the Emissary. I don't know, I really like Lyre. Okay, Deltarune's coming out soon, so I don't want to rant about Lyre too much, but yeah, this is just one of my favorite things ever. It's one of my favorite furry visual novels ever. Parentheses, especially only including ones that are finished all the way, end parentheses. I don't know, I love Lyre. I could talk more about what I love about Lyre, but Deltarune's coming out soon. Anyway, if you got to the end of the Lyre series, thank you. Thank you for getting to the end of the Lyre series. I hope you enjoyed watching, if you enjoyed watching. And yeah, now that Lyre's done, we'll start a new series soon. I'm not sure which one it'll be, but we'll start a new series soon. It was interesting how Richter and Lyle, they were looking at the Northern Lights at the end. At the end, they were looking at the Northern Lights. But anyway, we'll probably do Glory Hounds or something. I don't know. If you got to the last part of the video, leave a recommendation for what visual novel you want me to read next, right? Leave a recommendation for what visual novel you want me to read next, but I'm thinking we're probably going to do Glory Hounds this summer. I think it's going to be a Glory Hounds summer. And I don't know what else we'll read. Leave me some recommendations. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Go play Deltarune, unless you don't like Deltarune. Otherwise, if you don't like Deltarune, I don't know, go play Rocket League. I don't know, what do people who don't like Deltarune play? Guys, go play Deltarune today, tomorrow. Deltarune today. Thank you. Bye.